How many cops does it take to change a light bulb? None. They just beat the shit out of the room for being black. What's up, weirdos? Scott here. Thanks again for visiting the channel. As always, I appreciate it. If this is your first time to the channel, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoy the content. If you wouldn't mind, do me a favor, go ahead and follow me on Instagram. Let's_do-it-up, LETS_DOITUP on Instagram. And if you want to send a knife or knives into the channel for review, just send me an email at letsdiu79@gmail.com. letsdiu79@gmail.com. Just send me an email. I'll send you my shipping address. Send me the knife or knives. I will spend a week or two with them, review them, and send them back to you. And today, let's get ready for the bukkake here, guys. I have 66 knives here to sell to you. And I'm going to be going live at around 8:30 tonight at Eastern Standard Time. So I just want to give people in California enough time if they wanted to be present for the knife sale. That way maybe they'll be a little more apt to be able to do that if I do a little bit later in the day. So right now I'm just giving you prices on everything. It's going to go really, really fast because I want to post this right TF now so that I can get it out to you guys. You can be aware of the prices before I go live tonight. But if you are familiar with all of this stuff, then you just kind of breeze through, get the prices, and I'll see you guys later. So let me grab my book because I forgot to. I'm stupid. All right. So first, I'm going to show you these two just because I just found them. So first is the Kizer Sheepdog XL. There is a clip on it. Natural micarta, brown micarta, whatever you want to call that. I'll put a little bit more oil on here so it looks a little nicer. Like I said, I just saw these, so I just grabbed them. They're not even clean, but I'll clean them off before I send them, make sure the action's good and all that. But this does have the pocket clip, got pretty decent action. I'm going to be selling this for I think like $50, 50 or 40 bucks, whatever you guys want to do. I don't care. This one, the Concept, shit, what is this one called? I can't remember. The Concept Corvid. C-O-R-V-I-D, I think it's called. It's on here somewhere. It has to be. It's a Concept. XL Corvid. Sorry, XL Corvid. Big, beefy, stupid, ridiculous knife. I'm going to sell this for like 30 bucks. I think I paid 60 or 80 for it, something like that. This is 154 cm. Yeah, Concept usually uses 154 cm. This is a Coke design. Coke tools. Micarta scales. Steel liner lock. This little blue right here, that's just Loctite. Nothing I can do about that. But I will real oil this as well, just so it looks nice. So let's get cracking. So the first on the list is going to be, did I tell you? I think this is going to be like 20 bucks. Okay, so the Kubi Carve. Kubi Carve is a decent knife. I've had it forever and ever and ever. I think I paid, what did I pay? I didn't write that down. I think I paid like 30 or 40 bucks for this. I'm going to be selling it for $15. This is D2 steel, just green G10 scales. Liner lock steel. Next one is the CGRB Krag. That one is DLC coated with laminate carbon fiber scales, stainless steel liner, no pocket clip, decent action. This one I've had forever and ever as well. It's AR-RPM 9 steel, and this one is going to be 20 bucks as well. Next up is going to be the QSP Penguin. The QSP Penguin is going to be, why did I put that here? Shit, there it is. Okay, the QSP Penguin, sorry. This is, I believe, D2. Yes, D2 laminate carbon fiber scales, no pocket clip. That one is $15. I don't remember what I paid for it. I'm pretty sure it was like 30 or 40 bucks. This is D2 steel, and it's got a couple of small rolls in the steel right here. I don't know if you can see that or not, but there is a tiny, tiny roll right here. If you strop it, it should go right back into where it wants to be. Okay, so next up is the Kizer Sheepdog. The Kizer Sheepdog, this is the standard Kizer Sheepdog. It's 154 cm with a coated blade, black micarta scales, and no pocket clip, steel liner lock. And that one is, sorry guys, I fucked up my list. $40 bucks. There is a scratch on the pivot right here, just kind of wear from the pocket and everything. And there is, I think, a slight roll in the blade somewhere, maybe. Maybe I wrote that down wrong. Yeah, just scratching the pivot. That's the only thing wrong with this one. But this one is going to go for $40. The Concept Cryo. Concept Cryo is going to go for $35. This is also a coated blade, D2 steel, brown, looks like burlap micarta scales, stainless steel liner lock. Very cool knife. The ProTech Malibu. The ProTech Malibu is going to be $175. This is S45VN steel. This was one of the first runs that came out with the first button locks. The hardware on this is good. The aluminum scales are okay. This right by the pivot here, it's got a little nick by the pivot there, and I think there was one other little spot here. There's like a scratch like right here, but it's not all the way through the coating on the aluminum. So the ProTech Malibu is going to be $175. I paid $280 for it. The ProTech Strider SNG automatic has some scratches on the pivot here. That's just because it's really, really difficult to get back together. It does have, this is, what is this stuff called? I can't remember, but this stuff glows in the dark. And it's just an automatic knife, push button to open and close. It is not an assisted knife. It is an automatic knife. Hamlet, please do shut up. The hardware on this is great. I don't have a pocket clip for this. There is a little bit of wear on the thumb studs here, but that's just from hitting up against the aluminum on the scale here. You can see where there's worn a little bit there. But the action is absolutely fantastic. It works great. It shoots out really, really hard. Sorry, I'm not staying on the camera here. Okay, yeah, it shoots out really hard, doesn't have any hesitation issues or anything like that, and it's nice and smooth back into the handle. Anything that has an automatic action, I'm going to do over and over and over on here, just so that you can see that it's got what it's working properly, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So obviously this is working well. I'm going to stop doing that. Next up is the Vero Neuron. This is a double detent. Did I give you the price on the SNG? I'm sorry. Suck at this job. So the ProTech Strider SNG, I told you about the small nick in the aluminum. No, I didn't. Okay, so you've got the pivot there. There's a small nick in the jimping on the thumb area right there. And like I said, the pocket clip is missing, and it's got some of the coating coming off the thumb stud here. But this one I paid SNG. I paid I believe $260 for this. I'm selling it for $175. Okay, so back to the Neuron. Great action. It's a front flipper, also a I guess you would call it a top flipper maybe. But this one's kind of hard to do. Yeah, I can't do it with this one. I can't remember which ones I can't do and can't do things with. Sorry guys. So this is a top flipper, it's a front flipper, or it's a regular flipper, and it's a double detent knife. So all you have to do is just push down to get the blade to come out, and then push it back to go back down into the handle. The action works very, very well on this knife. I like it a lot. What is that going for? The Vero Neuron is, I spent $200 on this. I'm selling it for $150. It's got its pocket clip. It's got a small nick, and I believe that's N390 blade. So yeah, you can see like I think right here, there's a small nick in the blade right down towards the end, but it's barely noticeable. Everything else is still pretty pristine, and it's a factory edge. The micarta looks good, and the pocket clip is attached firmly. So that one is going to be $150, I think. Yeah, I'm going to sell that for $150. This is the Mastodon, the Mini Mastodon. The Mini Mastodon is going to be a $20 knife. 9CR18 MOV steel. Pocket clip is on. There's a couple of little stains on the G10 here, but otherwise it works fine. Steel liner lock. There are a few areas of... it looks like it could use stropping. It doesn't really look like there's any chips or anything in that like that in the blade, so it probably just needs a good stropping. It's definitely still nice and sharp. Action is good. no blade play or anything like that. So if you want this one, it's going to be 20 bucks. The Dam Design, let me see here. The Dam Design Banshee, I believe this one is. No, I'm sorry. This is the Wendigo. So the Wendigos, these are both going to be 30 bucks. These are both N690 blade steels. There's no clips on either one of them, and I bumped them down to 30 bucks from, I believe I paid 65 for these, because the scales originally were just natural JG10, and I dyed both of them. So you can see the blades are slightly different. This is the Banshee, this is the Wendigo, so whichever one, if you would like either one of them, just let me know. They're both going to be 30 bucks. Okay, moving on here. The Lightning OTF knife. Blade steel is the POOP. And what's the price on this guy? I believe I said like $5 maybe? Oh no, I said 10 bucks. Oh right, just because it's an OTF. An OTF knife that works really, really well. It, you know, if you take good care of it, it'll last you a long time. It looks like shit, but if you want it, it'll be, you know, 10 bucks. Or if you want to give me $5 for it, whatever, just let me know. The Kubey Anteater. I changed my mind about selling this knife. I don't really see much of anything wrong with it. If you just want a shitty knife that you can use and works pretty well, doesn't work great, as you can see, it's not the easiest thing in the world to flip. But the G10 is nice. The blade's a good blade. You can definitely reverse flick this thing just the way the blade is made, and it's just got an aggressive blade on it, that kind of hawkbill blade. Love it a lot. I'm selling this for what, like 10 bucks? Hold on. Kubey Anteater, yeah, 10 bucks. And it has a titanium pocket clip. That's the other reason I'm selling it for 10 bucks. Liner lock, it works pretty good. It looks cool, and the hardware is all shot. I've tried to take this thing apart to get the action fixed, and it just, either it's Loctited so tight together, or they just put it in so tight, or they just put it together so tightly that I can't get it apart. So if you want this, it's 10 bucks. If you want to give me $5 for it, that's fine too. I don't really care. Okay, back into the good stuff. The MSI from Microtech. So this one's going to be 200 bucks. M390 blade steel. This is the Microtech Ram Lock. This thing's pretty much brand new. Never really seen any use. Still got the factory edge. No blemishes on the bevel there. There is some dust from my case though, so I'll try to get rid of that before I send it to you. The pocket clip is intact and looks good. Everything on this knife is pristine. I paid, I believe, $250 for this. So yeah, I'm selling it for $200. I think that's a pretty good deal. Next up is the SOCOM Bravo. $275. I'm selling this for $275. I believe I paid, actually I traded a buddy for this, but I think this goes for like $350 or $375, something like that. It is a Chinese-made Microtech, so in a lot of people's opinions, not a real Microtech, and that's fine. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have said it that way. So this is a great knife, fantastic action. It's gorgeous. Nice little anodized pivot ring there. I believe that's a T15 pivot, possibly a T20. That might be a T20. And then you've got your carbon fiber onlays here and this gigantic full-length backspacer. Beautiful knife, fantastic action. M390, not good. And I'm selling this one for $275. Yeah, $275. M390 blade. Next up, my Benchmades. So the Super Freak, this one really hasn't seen much use at all. G10 is pristine. The little red accents are pristine. The blade is pristine. I don't think there's any nicks or rolls or anything like that. Nope, the blade bevel looks fantastic. This does not have a pocket clip, and I am selling it as is. A little bit of paint scratched off on the pivot screw there. This one is $200. I paid, I want to say, what did I pay for this? I think I paid $250 for it, $250 or $260. So I'm selling it for $200. Next up is the Adamas. Same deal. Everything's pristine on it. Still has the factory edge. It does have one little nick in the blade right here. I don't know if you can see that or not, but there is one tiny little nick in the blade there. There's some stains down on the bottom of the blade, but I'll clean that off before I send it out to you. Kind of concrete like coating. This has to be PVD, I believe. CPM Crewwear steel. This is a Siebert design. Axis lock. I don't know if I said the pocket clips there, not there or not, but it's centered well. It's got good action. It's still sharp from the factory. Really no issues with the blade. If you strop it a few times, I'm sure it'll come back to life with no problem. The only thing with this is the hardware is all T6, and this was put together very, very well with blue Loctite. And I did the best I could with the hardware, but you're going to have to get some really good, like, WIA T6s in order to take this apart, because the screws are starting to strip. So that one is going to go for, I want to say, $175. I paid $225 for this guy. So this is going to be $175. Next up is the CGRB Krag, another Krag. This is with the recoil lock. $20 for this guy. D2 steel, G10 scales, just got the recoil lock on it. That's why I have this separate from the other one. And this is the Sidekick, same thing. It's just a different profile. G10 scales, recoil lock, and I believe these are both D2 steel. Yeah, these are both D2 steel. So these are both going to be $20 if you're interested. Next up is the the Civivi Ortis. The Civivi Ortis, hold on one second, guys, is $50. I think I paid $90 for it. Obviously, this is Damascus steel, and this is real, authentic carbon fiber all the way through scales. They're thinner, obviously, because they're on top of stainless steel liners, which are skeletonized nicely. The action is pretty good on this guy. It takes a little bit to shake shut. But this one, again, is $50, paid $90 for it. It's a fantastic EDC knife, especially if you have regular to smaller sized hands. I believe there's a little bit of a roll towards the bottom here. I don't know if you can see that or not, but I'm sure some stropping will just take that right back out of there. It is still very, very sharp. It just needs a little bit of tender love and care. Yeah, I said $50. So next up is the Brous Blades Reloader. I think I keep calling them either Beg Blades or I don't fucking know, but it's Brous Blades Reloader, which is a really cool looking knife. I could just never get the custom version of it, so I saw that the budget version came out, and I thought it was really fucking cool. So I decided to buy it. I paid $40 for this D2 steel. I'm selling it for $20. Back into the good stuff, we have a Varga VBR, Varga by Riot. This is his V3, I believe, version 3 of the VBR. The first version with the thumb studs on it. The blade is compound ground, hollow ground here, flat ground here, and a nice bevel, or I'm sorry, a nice swedge all the way down to the tip. The Varga symbol there, you've got carbon fiber onlays with a faux bolster titanium frame lock. Different milled titanium clip than he's had prior. That looks really nice. There's a few snails on here, but otherwise it's a good looking knife. Action is fantastic. Only thing is I cannot reverse flick it. The D10 is way too hard for that, or way too heavy for that. But the thumb flick and the flipper are perfectly fine. And as you can see, it just flies right back down to the handle with no problem. Did I tell you how much that's going to cost? $275. I paid $325 for this. Also have the COA box and all that other bullshit. Well, actually, I don't think it came in a box. It just came in like a plain white box. But I have the COA for it, I believe. So if you're interested, give me a holler. Holla! Okay, the Big Banter. Actually, hold on one second, guys. I'm going to put this down for a minute. I skipped a whole bunch of stuff because there's a bunch of things that people wanted to look at and give me an offer on, which they've done that. I'm sorry, they've told me what they've wanted, and I told them what I am going to ask for it. I'm just waiting for them to get back to me. If they don't get back to me by the time I am at the end of all these knives, during the live stream selling the knives, then I will sell those knives. So they're going to be, most of them, so I stopped with the penguins. So the reason I have all my Spydercos here, I don't know why I'm pointing at that, it's not even on the screen. The reason I know my handwriting is atrocious. So, this area right here, a guy was asking me about all my Spydercos and all that, so I gave him all the information, I wrote it down, but then I moved on with the rest of the counting. So I am going to cover, I'll come back to this later. Sorry, after I do all the ones that I'm going to sell for sure, I will do the ones that people are wanting to buy. So the Big Banter, let me find that again. So 20 CV blade steel, this is going to be 150 bucks. I believe it was like $200 or 190, something like that. Fantastic knife. Green micarta scales, stainless steel liner lock. A nice big finger choil. A lot of people have a big problem with the fact that he made such a big finger choil with such a, you know, with a sharpening choil. I don't really give a shit. A little bit of jimping here. Nice action. It's a fantastic knife. If you'd like it, it's gonna be, what did I say? $150. I paid $200 for it. Okay, the Wee Ziphius. Fantastic Wharncliffe blade. Very thin grind. You can see how thin that blade stock is. Button lock, very, very crisp. I believe I do 75 for this. I think I'm selling it for like 225. What did I say? Ziphius. Yeah, 225, paid 275. This is 20 CV blade steel. Wraparound carbon fiber backspacer, titanium milled clip, thumb studs, flipper operated, and you've also got a nice little anodized titanium pivot ring on both sides there. Great knife. 225. The AD20S, not the AD20. And this is not the MG 8020. This is from China. The scales here obviously are from Original Goat. These are aluminum scales. There is a small scratch right here. I think I dropped it. I'm not sure exactly what happened, but it's just, you know, they're just aluminum scales. You can just replace them pretty easily from Original Goat. It's got the original pocket clip on here, and the blade looks fantastic. There's one tiny little nick right here and right here, but they're barely noticeable. But the knife still works fantastically. No problems at all with this thing. I love it. I don't need it in my collection anymore. So this one is going to be $375. Doesn't sound right. I'm sorry. I paid $375. I'm gonna sell it for, I'm gonna say $300. If you can't do $300 but you really, really want it, let me know. I may or may not lower the price slightly for you. Jesus titty fucking Christ. Okay, sorry. The CGRB Barranca, I think it is. Barranka maybe? I don't fucking know. Something like that. Barranca. So this is a cardboard cutting machine. Very thin grind, very thin blade stock, flat ground all the way down to the edge. And it's got a nice little flipper tab on it, stainless steel liner lock, burlap micarta, orange little aluminum backspacer here, which I'm not really a huge fan of, but it just looked like a cool knife. I'm selling this for 20 bucks. Next up is the Civivi Bull Mastiff. The Civivi Bull Mastiff is 9 CR, I'm sorry, that Barranca was D2. The Civivi Bull Mastiff is 9 CR18. I don't really know that I've really done much ever with this knife. It's still got the pocket clip on it, G10 liners, nice big beefy cleaver style blade, and the edge still looks pretty good on it. I need a strop or two, a little bit of that coating coming off there. I don't know if that's paint or what that is, but it's a pretty good looking knife. I think I'm selling this for 40 bucks. I don't think that's right. No, I'm sorry. I'm selling it for 30 bucks. I originally bought it for 60, so I cut it in half. The Tigress, I think I'm selling this one for like 20 because it's just, I mean, it's got good action. That was a mistake by me, but I've done some modifications to it, and I understand that people don't normally like that because I don't like that, but I did dye these parts of the scale here red. The black was already black. Obviously, it's got some chips on the aluminum in the back. That's why I don't really like aluminum back spacers. They chip too easily. It just looks like shit. The blade obviously is a cleaver style blade. CGRB symbol there. Really cool knife. It's a little bit of a novelty piece in my opinion. It's cool looking, but it's not really something that's very practical. Steel liner lock. I think I'm selling that for 20 bucks. Let me double check. The Tigress D2 steel. Yes, 20 bucks. Next up is, if I can try not to stab myself with that fucking thing. It's CRKT, not to be confused with CRJB. CJRB. So the Gulf is a CRKT knife. Pretty good action. It's on phosphor bronze washers. This basically is a survival knife. This is something you take out into the woods with you, or wild river rafting, or what the fuck ever it is that you do. I wouldn't do that with one of these because who knows what would happen. But this is just a cheap, easy to use knife. Good with the thumb flick, decent with the reverse flick. Nice action. It's got just regular flathead screw on the pivot here. G10 scales. What is this going for? The Gulf is 20 bucks. Next up is the Spyderco Resilience. Spyderco budget brand, not the Bird brand. This is 8CR13 MOV. Some scratches on the blade, obviously. What am I selling this for? 30 bucks. I think I bought it for like 75 or 80, something like that. G10 black G10 scales, got some crud on them. I'm not gonna wash them. If you want it, you can buy it. Next up, Spyderco Manix 2 XL. S30V steel, fantastic leaf-shaped blade, black G10 scales, plastic cage bearing trigger there, and jimping all over the place. Love this knife. Still got the pocket clip, Golden Colorado USA Earth, and this is going to be $150. I paid $205 for it. This is the stock version. I also have another one, but we'll get to that one in a little bit. Next Spyderco is going to be the Les Smoke. So this is S30V steel, black G10 scales. This is all stock. Everything is original. I don't have the pocket clip. Sorry. Sorry. What am I selling it for? $200. I paid $230 for this guy. So I figured 30 bucks, and it's not that. It's less than a year old. So I figured, not having a pocket clip is worth 30 bucks off. So next up is going to be my Bird Blades Iron Wolf. This guy is, I believe, $300, maybe $275. Let me look. Okay, $300. I paid $365 for this guy. It's 20 CV steel, obviously bolster, faux bolster, titanium scales, nice big, I believe this is a T10 pivot, and titanium pocket clip. This is number 42 of 55, if you can see in there, I don't know. And then just a titanium frame lock with brown micarta. Actually, that says, I think this was green micarta onlays. So very nice knife, very cool. 300 bucks. I do have the COA in the box and all this stuff for this particular knife. Next up is the Off-Grids Rapid Fire. I think I'm selling this for like 20 bucks. It's a budget knife. 30 bucks. I paid 60 for it. I've never really used it for anything. It's still got the factory edge on it. It's got this cryo-coated D2 steel, which is fantastic. It's a liner lock, and it is an assisted knife. It's the only assisted knife that I own. This is G10, and no pocket clip. So 30 bucks for this one if you want it. Next up is the Fossil. I think I'm selling that for 20, maybe. CTRB Fossil, yeah, 20 bucks. Paid 40 for it. It's not a great knife. It's more of a gimmick thing, but I thought it was cool when I first got into knives, so I grabbed it. Yeah, paid 40 bucks for it. It's 20. It's yours if you give me 20 bucks. I don't know what kind of. I don't even know what steel this is. I don't even think it says on here. Probably like 8CR or something like that. Next up is the Cold Steel SR1 Lite. Fantastic blade, Tonto, Grivery scales, axis lock, or Jesus Christ. The Cold Steel Triad lock is what I'm trying to get out. Sorry, guys. Sweating like a whore in church. Okay, so this is going to be... SR1 Lite is going to be 30 bucks. Paid 60 for it. It's 30 bucks if you want it. It's yours. Next up is going to be the Formax Scout. Grivery scales as well. Long, beefy blade. 4-inch blade. I believe it's 9 or 10 inches overall, something like that. Huge handle. Triad lock on this one as well. Really no issues with this guy. I've never really used it. Still the factory edge. This one is, I believe, 50. No, sorry, 90. I paid $130 for it. I'm selling it for $90, and I'll clean this part off when before I send it out to you guys. The Smooth Criminal, my only Medford knife that I own. S45 blade steel, yellow anodized aluminum scales with a stainless steel pocket clip, button lock. Action is fantastic. I think I'm selling this for 200. No, I'm sorry, 250. I paid 280 for it. It's S45 blade steel. If you make me an offer that's a little bit lower, I will probably accept it. Next up is, this is a weird one. So this is a KTC3. It's just it's a knife I got off of EDC Essentials, and I don't know, it's a weird one for me. So titanium liner lock, micarta scales, milled titanium pocket clip. Everything looks fine on it. It's got an odd shaped blade with a really deep fuller in the center of the blade with an opening hole, and it's just not something you see every day, especially with this shaped handle, which is a little small for me, but it's not terrible. What was I going to ask for this? I think I was asking $100 for this or something like that. Hold on. KTC3. Yeah, I paid $240 for this. I'm asking $100 for it. If you want to offer me something a little lower, I'll probably accept it. Like I said, milled titanium liner lock with a lot of skeletonization. Pretty decent action. Just a nice small little cutter or whatever. Manix 2 XL. I'm sorry, Manix 2 lightweight. What the hell? Now there's ants crawling on my mat. Jesus. Manix 2 lightweight, CPM Spy 27 blade steel, Grivory scales, bearing lock. Really not much else to say about this one. Obviously smaller than the XL, but just a really fucking cool knife. I really love the Manix 2. I wasn't sure about it until I got one, and now I really, really like it. So this guy is, Manix 2 lightweight is $225. That does not sound right. No, I'm sorry. I'm thinking of the XL, I think. No. Okay. So yeah, this was like, I think this was $165. So I'm selling this for $100. The Manix 2, let me write that down because I'm going to forget. And I think I just wrote the wrong thing and the wrong thing with the wrong thing on the wrong thing. So obviously, so I don't get confused about that, I don't want to. Okay, yeah, I'm selling it for $125. I bought it for $160. Okay, that makes me feel better. CPM Spy 27 blade steel, 125 doll hairs. Next up, what's next? The next Manix 2 XL. So this is a Manix 2 XL CPM S30 coated blade, and it has copper scales and copper cage, bearing cage. So I did do some force patina with the copper scales. Obviously, if you don't like that, you can just take it off of there with a little bit of light sandpaper. I will clean this off before I send it out to you if you want it. And if you just clean this off, you'll just have bare copper. It looks beautiful. It really, really does. But this one's going to be a little bit more than the other Manix 2 or Manix XL was, because this one is I put a lot more money into the scales and everything for this one. So just the appearance is bothering you, you can just sand that off. Take you 5 minutes. So the other one was $150. This particular Manix 2 is going to, I'm sorry, Manix XL is going to cost $200. I paid $205 for the knife, and I paid $150 for the cage and the scales here. Obviously the action is still pretty decent. No issues. The bearings work fine. Everything about this, I'm sorry, this is on Foster Bronze washers, but the washers work fine. It doesn't have the greatest action in the world just because of those washers, but it does work very, very well. So if you want this one, just let me know. It's going to be around 100. It's going to be around, what did I say, 150? Jesus, I'm so stupid. $200. $200 for this knife. $200 for this knife. Okay. The Petrified Fish Beluga. This is kind of just a junk knife. I'm selling it for $20. If you want it, that's great. G10 scales. I think this is K110. Yeah, K110 Petrified Fish. It's got a little bit of rusting on it, and that's why it's like $20. If you want to give me 10 for it, that's fine too. I'm not gonna turn it down. The Kaiser Brat. Fantastic, fantastic knife. Absolutely love it. integral G10 scale, and just the blade that whips out. Easiest thing in the world to take apart, easiest thing in the world to service, and it's a button lock with absolutely spectacular action. Nice long jimping on the spine of the blade there. I love this knife. I like it a lot. So what's that going to cost? Okay, so the Brat was $90. I'm selling it for $75, and that's only because it's pretty much brand new. I've only had it a couple of months. So $75 if you want this one. Next up, we're almost there, guys. The Kaiser Begleiter XL. How much was this one? Button lock, micarta scales, 154 CM blade steel. That one is $50. Paid $100 for it. I'll put some oil on the scales if you want me to, but I think they look pretty good the way they are, just because they're dyed red. Next up is the Civivi Wyvern. I believe that was $20, maybe $30. Oh, sorry, $25. I paid $50 for it. Grivory scales, just a steel pocket clip, and coated blade. I believe this is D2. Yeah, D2 blade. It's a decent knife. It's just, I don't like orange. Next up is the EMP EDC Nimble X. It's one of my favorites, but I got to get rid of it. I paid $350 for it. I would like $300 for it. I think that's relatively reasonable, in my opinion. You've got all the different flipping options. You got the reverse flick, you got the thumb flick, you got the forward flick, you got the reverse flick. I'm sorry, the forward flick, and the standard flipper. All of those are very easy to do. You just got to make sure you keep your finger off of the lock bar. Titanium scales, titanium pivot, titanium everything, titanium pocket clip. This is M390, and I would like $300 for this knife. Next up, the Civivi Praxis in Damascus and Black G10. That is going to be $50, paid $100 for it. If you want to give me $40, that's fine too. Next up, Insights, exact same knife, a little bit cheaper. I believe that one's $40. I paid $60 for it. I got this on the secondary market, pretty much the same as the Praxis, just a little bit different. A few more. The Civivi Backlash, this one's going to be $20. I paid $45 for it. You've got this little metallic blue scale here, coated D2 steel blade. I'm sorry, that's 8CR. 9CR18 MOV. Decent knife, never been used. I believe that's $20. Yeah, $20. All right, so that's the last one that I have for sale to everyone. The ones that have been spoken for, actually this one is no longer spoken for, unfortunately. The Spyderco Tough, I do have the pocket clip for this guy. I am asking $275 for this. I paid $315. It's got, you know, like I said, I have the pocket clip, I don't have the screws, but it's a titanium frame lock. It does have quite a bit of lockup percentage, which I don't really have a problem with that, as hard as they plan on people using this knife. I mean, look at the blade stock, for Christ's sakes. This is Ti-Nitride coated, and this is Crewwear steel from Taichung, Taiwan. God, all this dust from my case, it's crazy. Foster Bronze washers, just a tank of a knife. It's got a little bit of a nick right here in the blade. I don't know if you can see that or not, but there's like a little scratch here and a little scratch here. But otherwise, it's perfectly fine. There's no issues with this knife whatsoever. They do sell aftermarket scales for this on DLT Trading. Okay, the EMP EDC Pulse. What did I pay for this? I paid $250 for this guy. I only bought it, I think, 6 months ago. And it's still in pristine condition. I haven't really done anything with it. I did drop it once, unfortunately, so it's got one tiny little nick right there and one tiny little nick right here, and they're barely noticeable. It originally was it's $270 now, so it's $270. I paid $250 because I was getting it on the pre-order, so I want to make sure that's clear to everybody. But I'm only taking $10 off the knife, just because it's so new and it works so well. There are a few tiny nicks in it, but they're barely noticeable. It seems like, I don't know. If you want to offer me something a little bit less, that's fine, but I probably won't take it. So let me know if you're interested. Okay, so now I'm going to go through the stuff that's, definitely people are looking for. Okay, so these two, the Avocado Paramilitary 2 and Shaman, both in 204P, I believe. CTS 204P. Yeah. So both of these are for sale. I'll clean the blades off before I send them out. But they're both pretty much in pristine condition, except for the fact that they don't have the pocket clips on them. And I'm not sure what I did with them, so those are gone. But I believe you can still get just a regular black pocket clip from Spyderco or somewhere. But these are they still have the factory edges on them, which are pristine. Everything looks fine with that edge. Everything looks fine with this edge. So these are relatively unused, I would say. I've carried them a bunch, but I haven't really done much of anything with them. So to buy these together, they're going to be $400. I paid $240 for each of these knives. I will say this was not included. The Spyderco Paramilitary 2, this was one of the first runs, so they were doing them and just leaving the stainless steel liners alone. After, I think, the first couple of runs of those, they started coating the liners black. So you will not have the black liners on this particular Paramilitary 2. I don't know if that makes it more or less valuable to you. I don't think it makes it more or less valuable either way, but if you would like it, each one of these individually is going to be $210. That's $30 off of each knife. I'm sorry. Yeah, that's $30 off of each knife, okay? If you want them both together, they'll be $400. That's $80 off the entire amount of money that I spent on these two knives. So that's up to you if you want one or both of these. But somebody does have dibs on these right now. If they don't follow through by the end of everything else, then I'm going to sell these. Next up is the Combat Troodon. This is a signature series. I want to make that very, very clear. This is a signature series knife. Why? Because it has a goddamn Jade G10 micarta scale on it, and this has just happened to be the one that I found that I was able to afford at the time, and I wanted a Combat Troodon so fucking bad at the time, so I bought it. Don't judge me, but I paid $700 for this knife. I want to try to recoup as much as I possibly can from it, so I'm selling it for $450. For a Signature Series knife, for a Signature Series Microtech with a few dings on the coating and, you know, no real issues otherwise. There's a few dings on the pocket clip here, and a few dings on the glass breaker, but the G10 is pristine for the most part. There is a little nick right here from, I think I scraped up against something. But the blade is perfectly fine. The action is good. There's not a whole hell of a lot of play with this thing. Does look like there's a small nick in the blade right here, though. I don't know if I was holding this up here all the way high enough for you guys or not. I'm sorry. But yeah, so this is still in very, very, very good condition. But I'm taking $250 off the price just because that's fucking expensive for a Combat Troodon, and I don't want to gouge anybody, so I'm selling it for $450. Action is fantastic. No problems with this whatsoever. It failed a little bit when I first got it, but I recently took it apart and I put just the smallest splash of WD-40 in it, and it's been running like a fucking champ ever since. The trigger on this guy is pretty tight, but that's pretty standard for a Microtech, especially in the older releases. So the new triggers are fantastic, though. I don't know if you guys have experienced those yet, but if you haven't, that should be on your list of priorities. Next up are going to be the TRM Atom and the TRM Shadow. These two, I'm missing still the filler tab from TRM. I did try to contact them, but I haven't heard back yet. I don't know if I'll have the filler tab by the time I send this to you, but I did price it appropriately. So the TRM Atom, this guy, hold on one second. Where did I write that? Oh, goodness gracious. Okay, so the Atom itself, sorry, the Atom itself is $200. I believe I paid $260 for it, and the Shadow, I'm pretty sure I paid almost $300 for this. So this one is $275. So this is $250. I'm sorry, this is $200. This is $250. So $200 for the Atom, $250 for the TRM Shadow. These are both relatively new. The TRM Shadow is definitely brand new. I just got it like 2 months ago. And the Atom, I think I've had for a year. I got it from another guy, took pretty good care of it, but I did put new scales on it. There are a few stains here and there for it. But this one's 200. I'm sorry, this one's 225. 200, 225. I'm an idiot. Okay. Now we're getting into the Spyderco's. So, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so this guy right here is going to be 75 bucks. And that's just because the aluminum on this thing is fucking destroyed. If you ever see one of these guys on the market again, I think this was like 180, 160, something like that. Milling aluminum like this apparently is a terrible fucking idea, because anything that happens to it, anything that touches it, is gonna like ding the shit out of that aluminum. So I'm selling this for $75. A fully functional paramilitary 2, apparently. It got some crud stuck in it, sorry. A fully functional paramilitary 2 with great action, no blade play, aluminum handle so it's nice and light, for $75. CTS BD1N blade steel. I just know that means they put more nitrogen into it. I don't know what else it means, but the blade is still in pretty good condition, relatively sharp, no real nicks, rolls, or chips in the blade that I can see. Yeah, no, everything looks good. So if you're interested in this one, it's 75 bucks. Paramilitary 2, $75. Act now or forever, whatever. I forgot to put oil on the scale of this guy. I'll just do that right now. Just for fun, just for shits and gigs, so you guys can see kind of what it, I mean, it's not rocket surgery, but, so you don't need a lot. Little goes a long way. You just move it around, and it'll, you know, soak into the micarta there, and it makes it look nice and pretty. Just try not to use too much if you do this, just because it'll make it feel kind of greasy when you're using it. So after I put oil on it, I always just kind of wipe it with a paper towel just to get everything off of it. And I will do that later. But that just kind of brightens up the micarta a little bit, brings it back to life, so it doesn't kind of look so cruddy. See how it looks on this side. I'll do the other side later, but it looks a lot better like this. So let's see here. I got to go back a page. The Crucarta is okay. Yeah, the Crucarta is $150. I bought this for, I think it was $205 or something like that. So this is $150. It does not have the pocket clip, but it's just like I said, brown micarta scales, Cruwear steel, and absolutely fantastic action. I love PM2s. I can't keep all these. So this one and these four, all these four are all $150. These are all 150 bucks because I also, I paid the extra money, I think, which was like maybe $5 or $10 through Smoky Mountain Knife Works to get all these scales individually. I bought this knife, and this knife from Smoky Mountain Knife Works, and this one I bought the scales from Sharp Dressed Knives. I can't remember how much the scales were exactly, but normally a PM2 is going to cost you starting base at 175, 180 bucks. So I figured 150 bucks was a fair price for all of these knives individually. As far as together, I don't believe anybody's really going to pay like 600 bucks for 4 PM2s. So I mean, if you want to do that, I'm more than happy to send them to you. But I don't know a lot of people that are going to spend 600 bucks for 4 PM2s. So these 5, I'm showing you the action just for shits and gigs so that you can see them working properly. Compression locks work great on all 5 of these guys, all 6 of these guys. Every PM2 I have works great. So yeah, if you're interested in one of these guys, they're all going to cost 150 bucks a piece. All the edges are good. I've made sure the action is good on all of them. I've made sure there's not a whole hell of a lot of blade play on any of them. Sometimes you do have a PM2 where you're going to have just a whisper of blade play, just a whisper. But that's really not much you can do to help that. Like sometimes the body screws will help with that, but sometimes it just is what it is. Just like they don't always center perfectly. I believe all of these are perfectly centered though. It's a little off to the show side. Looks pretty good. That's off to the show side for show. This one looks pretty good. So the teal and S90V Spyderco Paramilitary 2. This one is going to be $100. So another very affordable Paramilitary 2, especially an S90V blade steel. There's a few stains on the blade, on the scales here and there, but as you can see, I had some trouble with the barrel spacer, getting that puppy back in on this side. I had some trouble on this side getting the fucking thing off. It cracked the G10 when I was trying to take the barrel spacer off. So that one I'm only pricing at $100. Obviously, still have the pocket clip on it. The scales look okay, they work fine. The action is fantastic. S90V blade steel, coated, you can't go wrong. This one's $100. Somebody doesn't grab it, I'll be fucking floored. Okay, so 150. 150, 150, 150, 150. I don't remember if I did the green one or not, so just in case, show you guys the action. Alright, I think... Ba-dum. Nope, sorry, one more. And last but not least, the amphibian. So the amphibian, what did I want for the amphibian? I don't remember. You tell me. Fuck. So I think this was $250. I think I'm asking, yeah, it was $250. I think I'm asking $200 for it. If that changes, I'll let you guys know later. But I'm sorry, no. I bought it for $250. I'm selling it for $225. So yeah, I'm taking $25 off just because it's an aftermarket sale, but I only bought this like 3 or 4 months ago. So $225 for this guy. Oh, that was a lot. Okay. If you're still watching, thank you so much for stopping by. I know you just wanted the knives, but that's fine. I'm going to post this right now, and I will be on live at around 8:30 Eastern Standard Time to sell some shit to y'all. Alright, so that was stupid. So thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please like and subscribe. Stay up, y'all. Take it easy. Sorry, stay up, weirdos. Take it easy. Bye.